Something's been bothering me for months. Every time someone shares their savings win, hitting their first $10,000, their first $15,000, I smile and congratulate them. But underneath that smile is this growing uneasiness. Because what I've learned about the first $25,000 changes everything, and it's not what you think. After diving deep into financial data and behavioral patterns, I've discovered why so many people get stuck in the same savings range for years, why that first $25,000 feels mathematically impossible to reach, and why everything suddenly shifts once you cross that specific threshold. The answer isn't what the financial industry wants you to know. It's not about discipline or budgeting or cutting back on coffee. It's about understanding the hidden mechanics that keep most people trapped just below the point where wealth building actually begins. What if saving money the traditional way was actually preventing you from building wealth? I know that sounds backwards. We've been taught that emergency funds come first, savings accounts are safe and slow and steady wins the race. But what if that advice was designed for an economy that no longer exists? Consider this. Someone with $25,000 invested has a net worth trajectory that's dramatically different from someone with $24,000 in savings. Not slightly different, dramatically different. What's the highest you've ever gotten your savings account before something derailed your progress? Some of you are thinking of that magic $8,000 mark where everything felt secure until the car repair happened. Others hit $15,000 and somehow watched it drain back down over 6 months of just one unexpected expense. And maybe you're that person who's never broken $3,000 without needing every dollar of it immediately. Each experience teaches us something different about how this game is really designed to work. The gap widens so fast that within 10 years, we're looking at completely different financial realities. Same starting point, radically different outcomes. Let me tell you about Priya. She earns $58,000 as a marketing coordinator. She's 28, responsible with money, and she's been saving $400 monthly for 5 years. Mathematically, she should have $24,000 saved. She has $8,200. Now, here's the thing. Priya doesn't have a spending problem. She meal preps, drives a reliable Honda Civic, and rarely buys anything she doesn't need. Yet somehow her savings account hovers in the same range month after month. What Priya doesn't know is that she's experiencing what financial psychologists call plateau syndrome. Once people reach $8,000 to $12,000 in savings, they unconsciously relax. They feel secure enough to stop pushing hard, but not wealthy enough to maintain aggressive saving habits. And here's what really gets me. Research shows 73% of savers get stuck in this range for over 6 years. They're not going backwards, but they're not making meaningful progress either. Meanwhile, inflation is quietly eroding their purchasing power. Have you ever felt that mental shift when your savings hit a certain number and you suddenly felt safe enough to relax a little? Maybe it was $5,000 where you finally stopped checking your balance obsessively, or $10,000 when you started saying yes to dinners out again. Some of you might recognize that dangerous comfort zone where you're not broke anymore but somehow never seem to get ahead either. Your story might be exactly what someone else watching this today needed to hear. This psychological trap is so predictable that financial institutions have studied this pattern extensively. They know exactly where most people stall out, and they've built their entire business model around it. The brutal reality about reaching $25,000, it's not really about having $25,000 sitting somewhere in an account. It's about crossing the mathematical threshold where compound growth starts working faster than your ability to save, where your money begins earning more than you can contribute through discipline alone. Think about this for a second. When $25,000 is invested, generating 10% annually, that's $2,500 in growth per year, $208 monthly. Suddenly, your investments are adding as much to your wealth as your savings contributions. Below that threshold, every dollar you save fights against inflation, fees, and psychological spending impulses. Above it, every dollar multiplies into something larger through compound returns. The system understands this transition point. That's why traditional advice keeps you focused on building cash reserves instead of crossing the investment threshold. Here's something that will make your stomach drop. Banks generate hundreds of billions annually from customers who maintain between $5,000 and $20,000 in total savings. These customers are financially stable enough to avoid fees and maintain minimum balances, but not wealthy enough to demand better returns. They represent the perfect customer base: high engagement, low maintenance, predictable behavior patterns. When customers accumulate $25,000 in investable assets, they become expensive. They start comparing returns, asking questions about fees, and moving money to higher yield investments. They become informed consumers instead of passive account holders. And that's the part nobody talks about. The entire advice structure around emergency funds and high-yield savings accounts serves to keep people in that middle ground, comfortable enough to stay, uninformed enough to accept minimal returns. When you think about your current bank relationship, do you feel like you're being served or being managed? Some of you instantly know what I mean. You felt like just another account number when you needed actual financial guidance. Others might be thinking your bank has been perfectly fine because you've never pushed beyond basic services. And maybe you're that person who's been thinking this exact thing but needed permission to act on it. Most people skip past questions like this. The ones who answer are the ones who actually change. Emergency fund advice made sense when savings accounts paid real returns and living costs were lower relative to incomes. That economic environment no longer exists. The hardest part isn't learning the strategy, it's rewiring your relationship with money from protection-focused to growth-focused. Previous generations taught us that cash equals safety because that's what worked in their economic environment. High interest rates on savings, stable employment, affordable housing relative to wages. Today, cash guarantees gradual wealth destruction through inflation. Every dollar in savings loses purchasing power annually. You're not preserving wealth, you're systematically diminishing it while feeling financially responsible. Wealthy individuals understand a different equation. Productive assets equals safety. Cash beyond immediate needs equals opportunity cost. The first $25,000 feels impossible when you're trying to save it in traditional accounts. It becomes achievable when you commit to investing it systematically. The uncomfortable truth I started with: celebrating small savings milestones without understanding compound growth keeps people trapped in financial mediocrity. Real wealth building begins when you cross the investment threshold. I'm Lauren, and I believe everyone deserves to understand how money actually works in today's economy. If this perspective resonated with you, consider subscribing to Lauren Talks Money. Let's keep exploring these important financial realities together. Your future self will thank you for making the shift from saver to investor.